Rise of Kingdoms is actually going to do it. They actually are implementing an equipment refund event, which is something that I asked for, I think, in my wish list video just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, they revealed a ton of new things with the latest face-to-face with the developers, which unfortunately released yesterday, and I had plans to visit Omniarch, so I had other things to do. Family always comes first. So today, let's dive in and figure out what is coming soon to Rise of Kingdoms. But first, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now, as you guys know, I'm a sponsored partnered creator with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you want more raw content, consider subscribing down below. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how close we are. So let's see how fast we can hit it. Can we actually hit it in 2026? Maybe. But anyway, let's jump right in here. Hello everyone, we've got another face-to-face with the developers, and it is hot off the press according to the title here. Let's jump right into question 1 here. Autarch testimonies have become increasingly less useful for kingdoms with consecutive victories, as there are currently no new items available for exchange. This is a question or concern that I have almost never heard of. I feel like this is a non-issue. I don't know of many people that are genuinely like, God, I have so many Autarch testimonies, golly, I don't know what to do with them, unless there's some kingdoms out there that are like only cherry picking easy matchups or something, or I don't know, maybe the top kingdoms in the game. But either way, we've got an answer here. Okay, thank you for your feedback, Governor. We've also observed this issue and we'll be addressing it soon. Yes, all 4 of you who have way too many Autarch testimonies, don't worry, we've got a plan. We plan to add the honing stone to the Lost Kingdom inscription shop, where you may exchange Autarch testimonies for it. As an extremely rare item, the honing stone can be used to gradually enhance the attributes of legendary armaments to ensure overall balance, especially for kingdoms that obtain fewer Autarch testimonies. These attribute gains are incremental and subject to an upper limit. For those of you that missed this, by the way, it looks like it costs 1 honing stone to increase your attack, defense, or health by 0.2% or all damage by 0.1%. So they were not kidding when they said that this is a very incremental upgrade, and it looks like 1 Autarch testimony gets you 1 honing stone. Okay, so an entire Autarch testimony to increase 1 stat on 1 armament by 0.2%. That's crazy. This is like the worst thing that you can spend your Autarch testimonies on if you have anything else that you can buy, right? Of course, but this is great for people that actually don't have anything else to do with them, because at least now they're still getting value there. So this is good. I just genuinely question how many people are in this bucket, because I can't imagine it's many. But let's move on to question number 2 here. What is the cost of resetting a commander in the commander reset event? If you guys are subscribed to the channel, which I hope you are, you might think you are but you're not, double check, you already know the answer to this question. But they said during the commander reset event only gems are required. The total cost is calculated based on the number of legendary commander sculptures refunded during the reset. For every legendary commander sculpture refunded, 100 gems are needed. And now we already have this in the game. This is already in the game right now, so we know this for sure. Let's move on to question 3. When forging legendary equipment, the margin for error is very low. This is very true, right? If you forge something and then you find out that it's not meta, or the meta changes, you're kind of stuck, you're trapped. You have a whole progression system ahead of you with iconic tiers and special talents, and it's like, do you even bother? Do you even want to do this? So it's been a problem. Okay, selecting the wrong equipment to forge or applying an unintended special talent can result in irreversible losses. Yes, this is true. If you put an infantry talent on the boots of the hellish wasteland, that is a skill issue and that is your fault, but that does feel really bad. It feels extremely bad that there's just no way that you could possibly fix that. They go on to say, is it possible to introduce an equipment reset event similar to the commander reset event? Answer: thank you for your feedback, Governor. We plan to introduce 2 equipment related events around April of 2026. Number 1, equipment special talent reset. During this event, governors may select 1 equipment piece to reset and reapply its special talent at a cost. Okay, so this is great if, let's say, you only have, you know, 1 ring of doom and it's got a special talent for infantry, and now you want a special talent for archers because your Emperor Chin is popping off. You can reset that special talent and now you get it for archers, right? At least that's my understanding here. Or of course, if you've just made a mistake, right, you've put the wrong special talent on a piece of equipment, this is going to be your opportunity to fix that mistake. Furthermore, things like greatest glory, maybe you put an infantry special talent here, but now that you see combo damage is a thing for cavalry, maybe you want to actually move this over to cavalry and do that. I don't know, frankly I don't really know anybody who does that, but you get my point. It's flexible and there's many reasons why you might need this, so I'm glad that it's coming. The second thing here though is actually even more interesting to me. Limited time material refund. During this event, governors may dismantle one legendary equipment piece to receive a full refund of the materials used at a cost. They should have implemented this, I'm not kidding, probably 3 years ago. Like, this is so insanely overdue. It's actually insane how overdue this is, so I'm glad that they finally are introducing this, although it is very late. They are extremely late to the party. Everyone knew we needed this. You knew it, I knew it, everybody knew it, everyone said we needed it, everyone agreed we needed it, and yet somehow it's taking until April of 2026 for them to capitulate. But either way, I'm glad we are getting this. I can finally get rid of my concealed dagger. Now, I actually did used to have a Mora's web as well, and I did bite the bullet and just dismantle it because it was just so clear that it was garbage. I held out for so long hoping we would get an event like this, and we are, but I imagine they're only going to let us do this once, so I don't feel bad about dismantling Mora's web because I do still have a fantastic contender for a refund here. So great news for those of us that still have those old accessories that we just do not need anymore. This is really good. Now I wonder what the cost is going to be, if it's actually going to be worth it to do something like, for example, if something has, you know, iconic tier 5 with a special talent, that might be worth resetting. Something that doesn't have those things might not be worth resetting if the cost is fixed. But it also could be the case that, like, the more you've invested into a piece, the more it's going to cost to refund it. I have no idea what this is going to be. Hopefully it's something very reasonable, maybe like 100 gems per legendary material used or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to question 4. Can the rewards in the Esmeralda's house event be further improved? Thank you for your feedback, Governor. We've taken your suggestion into consideration and plan to make adjustments to the rewards in a future version update. Again, I actually don't know anyone who's asked this. I feel like people just accepted that event is not great, but hey, this is them coming out and just saying we're gonna make it better. I love that. I'm here for it. All right, moving on to question 5. What is the purpose of reintroducing previous Zenith of Power city themes? Would this devalue existing Zenith of Power city themes? Of course not. Let's see what the answer is though. The primary purpose of reintroducing previous Zenith of Power city themes is to respond to the requests of many governors who wish to obtain these classic designs. At the same time, we are committed to preserving the value of Zenith of Power city themes in the following ways. 1. Attribute differentiation. Returning city themes come from an earlier generation with attribute bonuses distinct from more recent ones. Yes, of course they have lower stats, so they're less valuable. It is what it is. Number 2, value consistency. Returning city themes will follow the same pricing standards as current Zenith of Power themes, which is silly. I don't understand why that's the case. Zenith of Power themes are artificially scarce. I mean, pretty much everything in this game is artificially scarce. We're talking about digital goods, right? In fact, we're not even talking about goods. You don't actually own these things. It's a digital service. Rise of Kingdoms is a digital service. There is no downside to everybody in the game having every city skin available, right? Like, from a cost basis, right? Like, it doesn't cost them anything to do that. So really, I mean, there's no downside to giving people the opportunity to get the Zenith of Power skins, especially because they're just not competitive anymore. So yeah, there's really not much to say about this, but I'm glad that they're coming back, I guess. Question 6. The current war frenzy restrictions provide a negative experience as the information displayed is unclear and makes it difficult to plan battles. I have heard this before. Let's see what they have to say. Based on governor's feedback and suggestions from the Pioneer experience, we plan to implement the following optimizations to war frenzy restrictions. Number 1, improved information display. To help governors better plan battles, you can now view accumulated war frenzy ahead of time, as well as review times when war frenzy was triggered within the last 24 hours. That's great to know. I'm glad that they're actually providing us that information so we can see it for ourselves. And number 2, alliance leaders and officers can quickly check whether members are currently in rest mode through the management interface, enabling more effective tactical adjustments. The other thing that they should tell us here, right, besides just making the system better, right, like it's good to make this system better, what I would love for them to do when they're ready, like when they actually have the information, I would like for them to share with us what they conclude from the data they've gathered, right? I think this has been a more of a controversial change in an attempt to combat piloting, which, by the way, I'm probably going to talk about in a video soon, because that remains the #1 biggest problem that Rise of Kingdoms needs to fix. Yes, they need to fix matchmaking. Yes, they need to fix new player experience. But when it comes to actually keeping the players playing the game that are playing right now, piloting is far and away the biggest problem in the game. It's like not even close. It is a massive driver of people leaving the game, which is unfortunate. So what I would like to see is, what data did they accumulate, or maybe just a summary, right? We don't need to see everything, just a little summary of like, hey, this is what we can see on the back end. Piloting has been reduced by X%, right? But I also need them to be honest. If it didn't actually reduce piloting, they need to say that, right? They need to come out and say, hey, this testing didn't work out as we think. Here's what we found, and there you go, right? Because again, as players, we need transparency around changes like this because of how divisive they are, right? A lot of negativity came from the very upper ends of the game when this was introduced, and so we need the transparency. Is this actually working? Is this actually accomplishing the goal that it has set out to achieve, right? And just be honest with us, right? If it's working, great, tell us that it's working. Tell us by how much it's working. Is it, do you see a 5% reduction in piloting or a 50% reduction in piloting, right? I think it's probably not 50%, but like, we need to see that data, I think, or at least a summary of that data, in my opinion, in order to sort of let players understand why they are committed to this, right? Because again, if they have the data to prove that this is actually helping, but they don't share it with anybody, then of course people are just going to continue to think that it's this annoying inconvenience that serves no purpose, right? And people are not going to be happy about that. So if there is concrete evidence to support that it is actually working, we need to see it. If there's concrete evidence to support that it's not doing anything, we also need to see that, right? So either way, all that to say, right, I kind of went off on a little rant there. I'm glad they're improving this. I know that they're still pioneer testing this. They are still collecting data. So of course they're not going to make any conclusive decisions before they're finished collecting that data, but I do hope that they give us some clear answers sooner rather than later, because piloting is still a very big problem at the beginning of 2026. Question 7, I hope the auto peacekeeping feature can be optimized, as it sometimes interferes with other players who are also engaged in peacekeeping, leading to unnecessary disputes. Thank you for your feedback, Governor. We plan to optimize the feature and try to keep governors using auto peacekeeping separate from those engaged in manual peacekeeping, ensuring smoother gameplay for all. Yeah, so they're addressing basically chaining, right? Free-to-play players, low spenders, or even just highly engaged mid to high spenders who are chaining, they hate to see, you know, 5-7 marches coming for their chain because they know that it's about to get ruined by somebody who's not even actively playing the game, right? So I understand the frustration here, and I do think that this is definitely a change that they should make, and hopefully they are able to do this effectively. Now, I don't know how they're going to do that, you know, like maybe they're going to just make the auto peacekeepers walk, you know, 15 minutes in another direction or something, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. Question 8, the current resource consumption during KvK is too high, and I wish the game can reduce healing costs or introduce ways to obtain more resources. True, brother, big true. Ooh, biggest true that's ever been trued, honestly. Thank you for your feedback, Governor. To address this, we plan to introduce a new feature, the Acclaim Shop, tentative title, in a future update. Governors can earn acclaim from battles in the Lost Kingdom and convert it to acclaim coins at a certain rate. When the Acclaim Shop becomes available, governors can use acclaim coins to purchase healing potions, which can heal severely wounded units in hospitals directly without consuming resources or speed up. While the Acclaim Shop will be periodically restocked, items such as healing potions have a fixed purchase limit during each period. That makes sense, right? Because otherwise, like, the Giga Whales are just going to have infinite healing potions and everybody else will be out of luck. By the end of the season, any unused acclaim coins or healing potions will be reclaimed by the system. This feature will be available in select stories through the Pioneer experience and will be continually optimized based on Governor's feedback. Okay, so this is good, right? And other games have this. I think Call of Dragons even has healing potions, and honestly, we even in some KvK stories we already have healing potions, right? So I like this idea. I want to see this become a thing, and I want it to actually move the needle, right? Don't just give us, you know, 2 days worth of healing. It's like, okay, that's like a fraction of one hospital, right? Like, we need a lot of this in order for this to be relevant. And frankly, like, it makes me wonder, like, how much do people even spend on actual resources anyway, right? Like, we know that you can come into the shop and you can buy resources from these bundles, right? Like, you've got the bumper harvest, you've got the special resource bundle. How much money do the developers actually make from these bundles? I feel like if you compared how much they make from these bundles compared to how much they make off of commanders, armaments, and equipment and KvK tech, it's probably like a single digit percentage of their revenue. No, like maybe I'm wrong there, maybe I'm completely wrong, but like I feel like the game has almost evolved beyond this resource system, and I know that we need to keep it, obviously, like that's a bottleneck for fighting, so I get that, right? It's very relevant, but like resources are how you play the game, so I feel like the game would just be better with less barriers to actually playing, right? Now that being said, you know, we're still dealing with the piloting problem, and so if resources aren't a bottleneck, then that makes piloting even worse, and so it's like, you know, now we've got a very complex problem. But at the very least, I can agree that resource expenditure is too high. You shouldn't have to run 10 farm accounts just to play the game at the high end. That's ridiculous, that's dumb. Basically no other game does that, right? So like I'm glad that they're addressing this, and hopefully it actually moves the needle here without increasing the amount that pilots are playing. Moving on to question 9, I heard there's been a new Pioneer event for Ark of Osiris. What optimizations are planned and when will they become available? In the new Ark of Osiris, we added 2 challenge locations where 3 Anubis Guardians, each with unique gameplay and rewards, might appear randomly. We have also received feedback and suggestions from governors during the Pioneer phase. Based on this feedback, we are planning several optimizations, such as ensuring the number of buildings and scoring mechanics are consistent with the current version of the game, reducing the number of participants required to challenge Anubis, as well as rebalancing rewards from challenges. We expect to launch the new Ark of Osiris in March of 2026, with these optimizations implemented simultaneously in the next Osiris League. Okay, so they must be very confident in this new system if they're going to be putting it into Osiris League. I'm glad to see that. I personally do not play Ark of Osiris, but if you guys have tried this new Pioneer event, let me know in the comment section below what you think about this, because I think that's pretty cool. This kind of reminds me of like the jungler in League of Legends, right? I know it's not exactly like that because it requires multiple people, but like having some PvE related things off on the sides that, you know, kind of move the needle to the actual PvP battle, I think is a really interesting implementation. And that is everything for the face-to-face with the developers. Now, if you guys, and I say this every single time, if you guys have genuine constructive criticism and feedback for this update, click on the green link here and give them your survey. This is how you give feedback to the devs. Okay, it's not in my comment section, it's not on Discord, it's not on a Facebook page, it's not anywhere else. This is it. This is how you're going to do it. Okay, and it's only going to work if you are level-headed, logical, constructive, and respectful. Don't curse at them, don't freak out, don't have a meltdown. Okay, genuinely, if you have constructive feedback, you should tell them with this survey. Okay, don't just be like, lol, the game is bad, or, you know, oh, lol, this was a waste of time. Like, to actually give them genuine feedback. They do appreciate it, they do read it. I'm telling you now, that is huge. Okay, with that being said, guys, what do you think about this face-to-face with the developers? I think there's a lot of good stuff here. I think we've got more uses for Autarch testimonies. We have the reset for the equipment, which people have been asking for years. We have better event rewards. We have Zenith of Power skins, War Frenzy optimizations to that restriction. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this. I think all of this is good. I think it's a small step in the right direction, when really I think we need big steps, but at least it's a step in the right direction. And by that I mean piloting, right? We're talking mainly about piloting there. I think like the reset for the equipment is like just objectively good in every way, so I'm glad to see that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and while you're down there, drop a thumbs up on the video. It really does help out the channel a ton. It helps get this video out into the YouTube algorithm. And while you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the bell to be notified the next time that I upload a Rise of Kingdoms video. Again, we are so close to 100,000 subs, so let's see if we can get there in 2026. And guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.